Hello everyone, my name is Shakzot. I'm a master's student majoring in software engineering at Songyuan University, and today I'll be presenting our work titled Decade-Long Landscape of Advanced Persistent Threats, Longitudinal Analysis and Global Trends. This is our collaborative work with Professor Duwon Kim from University of Tennessee and with Professor Nick Varakis from Stony Brook University. And this work is soon to be published at ACMCCS of this year. Now let's begin our presentation and start with introduction. Advanced persistent threats, or in short APTs, are sustained, targeted, and highly sophisticated cyber attacks. Their motives usually include political, economic, and military goals. And what is different about APTs which distinguishes them from traditional cyber attacks is that the attacker of APTs are usually highly organized groups. The APTs are usually also very much targeted, targeting specific entities, organizations, and sometimes even countries, while traditional attacks have unspecified targets. The purpose of APTs is also to gain some competitive advantages and to gain some strategic benefits. And what is the most important about APTs, which clearly distinguishes them from traditional attacks, is the approach taken. While traditional attacks are conducting so-called smash and grab approach, just short-term approach, the APT attacks are performing the long-term and stealthy approach when the APT tries to hide itself inside the system without being detected and tries to steal or just simply destroy some important data inside the system. And given this high severity of APT attacks, there has been published a plethora of APT technical reports or dossiers. But as we have found out, there exists a limited research on longitudinal analysis of APTs, with rather previous works focusing on more microscopic focuses, just like evaluation of APTs or detection of APTs. With this said, our work tries to analyze APT incidents for the last decade, from 2014 till 2023. And with this, we position our work, as having a macroscopic focus. Specifically, we want to analyze existing technical reports to understand evolution of APT campaigns, trends in cyber threat intelligence records, the common traits of APTs, the influence of external factors. And for this, we are employing a hybrid methodology, including the rule-based and LLM-based extraction. Now let's move on to methodology of our work. In this slide, you can see the overview of our methodology. First of all, we start with source collection. Then we are retrieving some information from these sources, including the threat actors, victim countries, zero-day vulnerabilities, attack vectors, the adapted malware target sectors, attack duration, and also we are retrieving some IOCs, indicators of compromise, just like MITRE IDs, CVEs, and YARA rules. After retrieving everything, we would want to sanitize data, and after data sanitization, we conduct an in-depth analysis of APTs, and in the end, we try to visualize everything. So let's start with source collection. From the overview page, you might have seen that we have three different sources. So for the first source, the technical report source, or just TR source, we have combined this collection from three different sources and ended up with 2,563 technical reports on APT campaigns for these years. For second source, we are also collecting the threat actor information. After investigating the technical report collection, we have found out that there exists really a little information about the threat actors, including the supposed country of origin, the motivations of these threat actors, and other further information. Thus, we want to explicitly collect the threat actors, and for this we have also combined three different sources and ended up with this number of APT groups with some metadata. Also, to analyze the influence of APTs on external factors, we are also collecting the news articles connected with APT incidents. Specifically, we have collected news articles and media reports and ended up with having 177 articles on APT campaigns for the last decade. After collecting the sources, we want to retrieve the information from them. So first of all, for LLM-based approach, we have considered three different large language models. Specifically, we are considering GPT-4 Turbo, GPT-4o, and also Gemini 1.5 Flash. We have evaluated these three LLMs against the ground truth, where the ground truth is just manually inspected answers by us, which is around 10% of our TR collection. And after evaluating everything, we have selected GPT-4 Turbo for having the best performance. For rule-based approach, we have chosen a well-known tool called IOC Parser, which helps to extract some indicators of compromise from the given text, including the MITRE IDs, CVEs, IP addresses, and so on. We have also compared the performance of IOC Parser against the GPT-4 Turbo in extracting IOCs, and I've chosen IOCs for its outperforming the LLM in extracting of IOCs. Also, furthermore, we are conducting the manual inspection for only one item, specifically the attack duration. We are just verifying the attack duration from the LLM outputs to help the estimate the lifecycle of APTs. Specifically, we are collecting the start, attack date, and also the end of attack date, and we are computing the duration of the attack. With this said, we have this table on the right side of the slide, which you can see the search items and the retrieval approach for this item, and also the number of TRs this item was found and the ratio from the whole TR collection. After retrieving the information, we want to refine the responses. So specifically, we are normalizing victim countries into two-letter country code for simplicity in analysis. We are also categorizing attack vectors and target sectors into 12 groups each. Furthermore, we are removing the duplicates from TR and TA collection, which helped us to shrink our dataset. Specifically for TR, we have shrinked it to till 1,509 technical reports. For TA, threat actor collection, we have shrinked it to 884 different threat actors. And furthermore, for TA collection, we are also explicitly filtering out threat actors with insufficient metadata, and thus ended up having 603 different threat actors with some metadata. Now let's move on to the decadal landscape of APT campaigns. Specifically, in this work, we are having 4 different research questions. For RQ1 is about the evolution of APTs over a decade. The research question 2 is about the cyber threat intelligence records for APTs. The research question 3 is about common traits of APTs. And finally, we are analyzing the external dynamics affecting the APT cyber attacks. For evolution of APTs over a decade, for victim countries, we have found out that 154 countries were victimized for the last decade. Notably, there exist 195 countries worldwide. And on the figure on the right side of the slide, you can see the top 10 victimized countries for the last decade. Specifically, the top three most victimized countries are United States, India, and South Korea. Furthermore, we are analyzing the evolution in threat actors' activities. We have analyzed and found out that 446 groups were active for the last decade. And on the figure on the bottom of the right side of the slide, you can see the top 10 most active threat actors for the last decade. Specifically for top three, these are the Lazarus group, the North Korea linked group, the EPT28, and also EPT29 group. Furthermore, we're also analyzing the zero-day usage by these threat actors and zero-day usage while victimizing the countries. And it can be observed using these red charts on the figures. And you can see that there exists a general downward trend starting from 2016 for both of the figures, which concludes that the usage of one-day vulnerabilities have increased, while usage of zero-day vulnerabilities have, on the contrary, decreased. For target sectors and initial attack vectors, we have also made these two figures showing the evolution of them. Specifically for target sectors, we have found out that government and defense and corporation and businesses found out to be the consistent targets of EPTs for the last decade. And for initial attack vectors, we have found out that malicious documents, spear phishing, and vulnerability exploitation were consistently the most actively used by threat actors for the last decade. For second research question about the CTI records in EPT campaigns, we have collected the MITRE technique IDs. Specifically, we have extracted around 1,500 different MITRE technique IDs, and after making them unique, we have found out that 264 MITRE technique IDs were unique. And we have investigated it, analyzed, and found out that the top tactics included the execution, the device evasion, and the discovery, which is aligning with the behavior and the approach taken by the APTs. For the CVEs, we have extracted around 1,000 different CVEs, where 431 CVEs were found out to be unique. And top vulnerabilities of CVEs included the remote code execution and memory corruption. Furthermore, for YARA rules, we have extracted in total of 419 different YARA rules. And what is really interesting about YARA rules is that all rules were found to be unique, which might be attributed to limited coverage of EPTs due to high sensitivity of EPTs. Now for the third research question about the common traits of EPTs, we have first of all analyzed the EPT attack duration, and figure on the right side of the slide you can see the figure showing the attack duration of the EPTs, where the median attack duration were almost 140 days, while the longest EPT activity have lasted for roughly 5 years, which is known as Project Sauron, and the shortest EPT activity was conducted for only 1 day, which was found out to be the attack on France broadcasting channel TV5 Monde. Also, we have analyzed vulnerabilities and patches. For this, we have collected the release dates of CVEs and compared it with the start and ending date of EPT attacks. And the figure on the right side of the slide, you can see the comparison and the timeline of vulnerabilities and patches, where you can see that almost 50% of vulnerabilities were found out to be exploited as 0 days, while the patch was not available. And we also found out the average patching time being around 200 days. Furthermore, while investigating, we have found out an interesting phenomenon where attacker can be also victimized, and the victim can be also an attacker, which we call two-sided nature as both attacker and victim. And on the figure on the right side, you can see clearly 3 different top attack pairs, specifically the China-US pair, the North Korea-South Korea pair, and Russia and US pair. And for these pairs, what is also pretty interesting is that we have found out the asymmetry in attacks. So, for example, for a pair of China and US, it's 62 to 2, which concludes that the ratio is 31 to 1, meaning that China have attacked United States 31 times more than United States have attacked China. And for North Korea, South Korea, and Russia, United States pairs, the asymmetry ratio is around 15 to 1. What is more interesting about this figure is that there exists the self-directed cyber attacks. Specifically, for example, let's take China and China pair, which concludes that China have attacked itself 21 times. There also exists the Russia-Russia pair, saying that Russia have attacked itself for 29 times, and there's also even the United States attacking itself for 2 times. This phenomenon was found out to be really interesting, thus we have investigated it inside the technical reports and found out 3 different reasons why it might have happened. First of all, it might be due to some domestic targeting of individuals residing inside the country. Second of all, it might be due to targeting of foreign organizations within the country. And lastly, it can be due to some geopolitical and territorial disputes. Now let's moving on to the last research question about the external dynamics affecting the APT campaigns. We are considering 4 different external dynamics. The first one being the political events, and the clear example of political events affecting the APT campaigns is the US presidential elections of 2016, where the Russia-linked threat actor APT-28 was found out to be attacking the Democratic Party of US. For international conflicts, the clear example of it can be also the Russia-linked threat actor group called the Sandworm, which was found to be attacking the energy sector of Ukraine during the Russo-Ukrainian War. Furthermore, for global pandemics, we have found out that the North Korean group called Lazarus have attempted have severally attempts to steal the intelligence related to the COVID-19 vaccine, and also with rise of the cryptocurrencies, the Lazarus group have conducted a crypto heist. After analyzing the APTs for these 4 different research questions, we are also trying to visualize it for simplicity. Specifically, we have implemented the APT map, the interactive map of worldwide APT campaigns. You can choose the victims, you can choose the attackers, and just observe the most victimized countries for each year, the most attacking countries of each year. Also showing some additional information about the threat actors, zero day, and so on about all the items we have collected. Secondly, we have also made a Sankey diagram showing the relationships between top 10 threat actors and top 30 victimized countries for the last decade, this big figure. And with this said, let's move on to discussion. As for limitations of this work, first of all, we can say that not all the APT groups, not all the APT cases can be captured due to high covert nature of the APTs. Secondly, since we are employing the LLM information retrieval, the LLM retrieval is limited by the model capability. Furthermore, for the attack duration, again, since the APTs are highly covert, are highly trying to persist, it is really challenging to determine the precise attack duration of APTs. And lastly, for CVE and page timing, since for this research question we have collected the CVE release date, This CV release date does not guarantee that patching was announced for all the system. Thus, patch does not always align with CV release date. And to conclude our work, first of all, we have analyzed the apt incidents for the last decade. Specifically, we have analyzed 1,509 reports using our hybrid methodology of LLM and rule-based approach. And we have analyzed this apt longitudinally in terms of 4 different research questions, specifically the evolution of apts, CTI records, common trends, common traits, and external factors affecting apts. And for the visual representations, I do have the QR codes leading to both the apt map and the Sankey diagram. These two visual representations are interactive. Thus, you can just play around and observe the trends of apts for the last decade. That was the end of my presentation. Thank you for your attention, and it was a pleasure to me to present in this seminar. Thank you, everyone.